Okay, so just thought I'd do a little video this morning. Not an installation video because it's a pretty straightforward job I've got to do on the bike today. But yeah, I've just decided to invest in some protection for the bike. I'm heading off to Europe back end of May, early June. We're doing a couple of laps of the Nürburgring. So I was always planning for my new bike to get some crash bungs, which I've had on previous bikes, but I haven't actually put them on my current bike, which is the BMW S1000R. And I was looking at a variety of different options. I've used Evotech in the past, R&G in the past, all good products. But this time round, I sort of just widened the sort of search a little bit. I had a chat with a couple of guys, one of which was, or is, a current sort of bike racer, who absolutely swears by the GB Racing, and it's got a great sort of write-up and lots of good opinions out there, and the build quality is superb. So I've invested in the three main covers for the bike. Immediately what I can notice is the quality, the rigidity, and the fact that in different parts of the covers is different thicknesses. I assume that's to reflect where most impact will be. So again, as you can see maybe on the video around here, it's thicker here than it is towards these areas, which are the areas that have least impact. But yeah, all in all, it looks like a great bit of kit. I like the way they have the alloy inserts here, so you're not putting pressure on the sliders themselves. Now, whether these are actually going to be effective for the bike literally just falling over and dropping, because I think they are designed primarily as sliders, but to be honest with you, it's better than not having anything at all. And I think this is a great sort of blend of great aesthetic, good quality product and material, and a British company as well. So it all came the other day, all came in great packing, clear instructions, all the bolts required. So yeah, I suppose like anything, you buy and invest in protection for your bike, not because you expect to drop your bike, but I suppose like insurance, you just want it there just in case, so it's a bit of peace of mind. And this bike is a bit of a keeper, so I thought I'll protect it, do what I can, and yeah, so far so good. So I'll come back to you once I've installed it and you can sit on the bike. Cheers guys. Okay, so I had thought I'll just come back to you once I'd installed everything, but I've actually experienced two issues. First issue is I hadn't realised I've got to take the fairings off, because when you take out the engine mounting bolt, the original one, the actual flange on the top of the bolt actually comes into contact with the fairings. That's got to come off. And the second issue I found is because the bolt, the new bolt that comes with the slider, has to go in the recess in the slider assembly. The actual collar on here won't go in, so I'm just going to have to do them with by hand with an Allen key, and then adjust with a torque wrench when I can find a suitable way of getting inside. But first issue I've found and experience, just wanted to share with you. I'll come back to you if there's any more issues or once it's done. Cheers. Okay, so issue number 3. My torque wrench set at 10 Newton meters, which is what it's recommended for the new bolts when fitting, doesn't seem to click where I expect it to. I feel as if I'm over tightening. Now this might be an issue with the torque wrench, although it's quite a new one. So what I've decided to do is just do it by hand, i.e. putting the new bolts, but not over tighten, just by feel. And the bike's going in for a service in 2 weeks time, and I'll be surprised if I get the chance to ride it much before then. So what I'm going to do is ask BMW Motorrad just to check the torque for me, because I don't want to over tighten it for obvious reasons. The last thing I want to do is damage the bike by putting this on. But This is more of an issue, I think, with the quality of the torque wrench rather than the actual product. But anyway, just keeping you involved just as I carry on through the job. But we're making good progress. I've only been at it sort of 5-10 minutes already, so it's quite a swift job. Catch you in a bit. Okay, right, half an hour later, job done. So sorry about the lighting, it's not great here. I'm in the garage, it's blowing a gale outside, but yeah, there's the frame sliders, and there's the alternator cover. Aesthetically they're great, I think they're superb. Quality, as I said, even when you're screwing on, there's no flex in the product, so I'm confident that if I do have a bit of an off, touch wood never do, these are going to protect my engine casings and a big expense. So there's the left hand side, and onto the right hand side again there's the they're called bullet frame sliders. I suppose the shape of them, it's such to as I'm guessing here, provide least resistance to the ground. There's the pulse cover, there's the clutch cover. Went on doddle, absolutely no issues whatsoever. The only thing that really took me a bit of time was getting the fairings off, but I've got that down to a knack now. I can do that in a few minutes. And yeah, I think I've, if anything, under tightened rather than over tightened the bolts. And as I said, when I get up to get the bike service in a couple of weeks, I'll just get them to check the torque settings for me. It's 10 Newton meters for all the covers, and it's 40 Newton meters for the engine bolts. But I've obviously kept all the bolts just in case I need to take them off in the future when I'm coming to sell the bike, and you never know, I might get another SK1R, in which case I've already got the protection. But no, really happy with the job. So not the best video, I do apologise, the lighting's crap and I didn't think it through too well, but it should give you an idea. But no, as far as I'm concerned, I hope never to use them, but so far quality's good and it gives me a bit of peace of mind. Thanks for watching.